What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the quarterfinals of the $20,000 SteelSeries Prime Cup. The tournament was played this weekend, and since the quarterfinals were overlapping, I wasn't able to cast everything live, so I will be casting some of the quarterfinals here from recorded games, starting off with TheMista versus IAmMagic. IAmMagic, the one that defeated Hera in the previous round, a very, very skilled Canadian player, whereas on the other side is TheMista, the finalist of EGC Genesis. The home maps, I'll have to check. Hold on for a brief moment. It is Mongolian Heights for TheMista and Hill and Dale for IAmMagic. Game number 1 is always Dry Arabia, and you see the civilization draft on the screen. Each player can use one civilization only once. Delhi Global Ban for IAmMagic, so he was definitely afraid of those fishing ships on Mongolian Heights. But first, we jump into Arabia, and on the north we do have Mista playing as the Rus, and we will have Rus as well for IAmMagic. So Rus mirrors in this first matchup. So let's talk about this matchup over here. When you talk about Rus mirrors, it's even more important to see how much bounty the two players are able to accumulate at the beginning of the game. Because when it's Rus versus something else, the Rus will still probably get to 250 bounty or so. But when it's Rus mirrors, you're not only boosting your own bounty level by killing the huntables, you're also sort of hurting your opponent more than in the case of, let's say, just playing against something else that's not Rus. So this is a race towards the huntables, and we'll have to keep an eye out on the performance of these two players when it comes to gathering that. 17 gold per minute on IAmMagic's hunting cabin, 18 for Mista's one, so those are pretty much identical. And we do have the first patch of huntables already being taken down by Mista. On the other side, it looks like he also has a scout moving forward. Magic also taking down his own hunt, and is moving out to the right side for hunt. I didn't see a lot of wolves being taken in just yet, so that's why the bounties are rather low. 35 only for IAmMagic, so not necessarily an ideal start for him. Going for the huntables here. Now, one of the results of the huntables being split quite evenly in between the two players will be that both players will have a slightly slower castle age time compared to just having a Rus versus non-Rus matchup over here. Looks like the Mista is going to try to delay his opponent from taking this hunt. IAmMagic is gonna need another scout here to fight this one. Once he has two scouts, he can just one-shot deer, so he can just take all of those. You see, that's exactly what he's doing. So Mista won't be able to deny that. He can try getting some hits in on those scouts, but that's not gonna matter that much either. And you see, IAmMagic is going to take this entire patch of huntables, this one as well. The Mista is taking his own hunt right now. Currently, there is a 50 bounty advantage for IAmMagic. Still no wolves as I see, so this war for the huntables will probably come down to wolves. There is one over there for Mista. He's cleaning up these at the back of his base. Where are the wolves at? Usually you see a lot more wolves. I've only seen like one being taken down, so the map seems to be quite scarce on wolves right now. Now, the fact that we are split at like 150-ish bounty between two players, as I said, that's something that hurts both, because neither of them are able to get to that tier 2 bounty. Mista actually gets a wolf on this side, and I think I saw him being trailed by a wolf on the other side as well. So he managed to get up to 210, pretty nice. IAmMagic still looking for wolves out there, but I don't think that he's gonna find any, so that's a win here for the Mista. He actually finds one. That's gonna be a nice little extra gold, but still only level 1 bounty. The most important thing here for IAmMagic though is that the Mista is also at level 1 bounty, so neither of the players are able to unlock that extra 5% food getter rate boost. Golden Gate coming in for both players. We do have 5 villagers on it for the Mista. IAmMagic is going with 6, so slightly faster construction out there for him. And another wolf comes in for IAmMagic, so he was a little late to the party, but now he's actually looking pretty decent. The third wolf comes in, and that is gonna be 240 bounty. You gotta kill those 2 sheep in order to get the 10 gold you need, and that's exactly what you're doing. There is no food decay in Age of Empires 4, so you can kill all the huntables at the same time, and you want to do that in order to get to 250 bounty. So now IAmMagic has that tier 2 bounty, and the Mista doesn't. So unless Mista finds another wolf, he's gonna be in trouble. This is a mirror matchup, which means that every single piece of advantage can be extremely important, simply because you're going to be doing probably identical things, So the small difference between the two players having that 5% extra gather rate boost from the bounty is actually quite important. Looks like we have Feudal Agent already for IAmMagic going for Professional Scouts. TheMista also up to Feudal, and he is going for Professional Scouts as well. So this will be a fight for the Huntables, and that's going to be a very important wolf for TheMista. That is a vital wolf. You need 4 hits to kill that wolf, and you see that there's 5 scouts here for IAmMagic, so you could take it down. Mista takes a shot. Mista needs to shoot that, and he wasn't able to. That's a huge win there for IAmMagic, because that was a much-needed wolf here for TheMista. Obviously, IAmMagic also gets 25 gold, but the bigger thing here is that he's denying that tier 2 bounty from his opponent. Professional Scouts in 30 seconds for TheMista, and for IAmMagic it is also 30 seconds, so pretty much identical scenario here. Looks like Mista is moving up for the opponent's hunt, whereas on the other side IAmMagic is going to move up for his opponent's hunt as well, so it is just pretty much going to be taking each other's hunt. Should be rather even amount of food in between these two players. Mista is at 240 bounty. If he happens to have 2 more sheep, he could actually get to level 2. There's definitely one over there that's still alive. Might be a second one hiding inside the town center. Mista needs that. Like, Mista needs to kill those. Actually, Mista has 2 sheep here. He needs to bring those back and kill them, because if he does that, he gets 10 gold, and he's gonna be at level 2. And that's quite important, because the longer you delay this, the less food you will be able to accumulate, because your opponent's already at tier 2 bounty, so he's getting that plus 10% food harvest rate, plus also higher gold trickle from the hunting cabin. Scouts already coming in for IAmMagic. He brought back the hunt from his opponent's side. He currently has 6 scouts available, and he's going for a 7th one. Usually, the target you want to get to is 7, so you can swoop up an entire patch of huntables with one group of scouts. IAmMagic at 290 bounty. Mista is still sitting at 240. That's a pretty crucial problem right now for him. You see, he killed 1 more sheep. Now he's at 250, so he finally unlocked that food gathering rate boost. Probably not the end of the world for him that he was a little late, but you see that his opponent's resources are looking a tiny bit better. Looks like IAmMagic is going up for the huntables of Mista. Mista's gonna bring in his own hunt. That's going to be 5 scouts out here. Any more? Yeah, there is 1 more at least, so he should be able to pick up most of this hunt. IAmMagic won't be able to steal a lot from this one. Instead, he's gonna pick up this last carcass, so this patch is gone. This patch down south still has 2 carcasses, and this one has 1, so we're pretty much out of carcasses over here. Rather even split in between the 2 players, and we should have pretty much comparable castle age times. So it's gonna come down to how you control your warrior monks, how you're going to start securing relics. Let's talk about relics now, because this could very well turn out to be a battle for the relics. And whoever gets that 1 extra relic over the opponent will have a massive advantage, because that's 100 gold per minute trickle for the rest of the game as an advantage. So the relics are quite evenly split. There is 3 relics on the left side over here, 1 closer to Mista, 1 closer to IAmMagic, and 1 on neutral ground. 2 relics on the right side. This one is rather close to Mista, this one's a little further away from IAmMagic, but I would say fairly balanced relic spawn. And it's gonna come down to maybe this relic, or maybe IAmMagic being able to steal this one. 11 villagers on the landmark for the Mista, and IAmMagic is only building it with 8, so there's going to be a slight advantage going in for the Mista as he's trying to stop his opponent from taking that hunt in. There is a defensive tower up for Mista, so that's going to help obviously protect his lumberjacks, but more importantly, it's going to boost lumberjacking. First warrior monk already on the way, and we'll have triple range cav archers coming in. Other side, looks like there's no archer ranges coming in just yet for IAmMagic, which gives a tiny bit of an edge to Mista, because Mista's gonna have cav archer production already, so he's gonna have a numbers advantage at the beginning, and that can help secure those relics. Looks like Mista is, for now, just pursuing all those scouts out here. Looks like he might find these 2 carcasses. It's not a ton, but still, 2 carcasses are 2 carcasses, so there is definitely an advantage from there. Now, one thing that you have to be careful about is not to get your warrior monks surrounded by scouts. Because once you got like 8-9 scouts on the field, they can actually surround the warrior monk, and then the monk can't escape. Here comes the first warrior monk for our blue player Mista, shortly followed by a red warrior monk from IAmMagic. Looks like he might be moving towards this relic up north. He probably does. There is a couple of scouts out here, seeing if his opponent is going for it. So he's actually going to try and steal a relic from that side. On the other hand, I do believe that TheMista also wants to go for the relic on the opponent's side. The second warrior monk will probably go for the relics closer. That's usually the way that you open. You go for the furthest away relic with your first warrior monk, and uh-oh, that's a problem for TheMista. He's got one more warrior monk that's already carrying a relic, and now he can't pick this up. Oh, that's a little sloppy out there. Because now he just brought that relic all the way up front over here. He could have just taken this first and then take this one instead. Warrior Monk for IAmMagic is going to pick up one, so currently we're at a 1-1 scenario, and it looks like TheMista is just going to be a little too late to the party with that second Warrior Monk. As I said, you always send your first one to the front, so that you can steal one from your opponent, and then you are going to send your second one to the close side, and it looks like IAmMagic, since he's got a bunch of leftover scouts, he's gonna try to take some carcasses away. He actually might yoink one. Look at that, he turns back and picks it up. He lost the scout that was carrying it, but he turned back and took it away. I think that's 3 carcasses that were stolen. Now, the same thing could be attempted here by TheMista. Just run close to the town center, pick up the carcasses, but there's basically nothing left here to steal, so IAmMagic has to be happy with the fact that he took 3 carcasses from his opponent. TheMista is also running low on food here, close to the town center, so that's not ideal for him. Horse Archers now moving in. Numbers should be favoring TheMista a tiny bit here. We're talking about 20 to 18. Ecos, rather even, slightly better food income for Mista, slightly better wood for IAmMagic. Very, very minor difference. What could be a difference maker is that this relic is also taken by TheMista. Currently, we are sitting at 2 relics for IAmMagic. He's got one from his opponent's side and one coming from the right side. Mista, on the other hand, has 2 already, and there's the third one coming in. As I said, in a mirror setup, small differences are even more amplified in between the 2 players, because you're doing the exact same thing, but if one player has an extra 100 gold per minute, that player is going to start carving out an advantage. You can get the Boyar's Fortitude a little faster, allow you to take better fights out here. Nice fight over here for Mista. He's taking down quite a lot of Cav Archers from IAmMagic. His scouts are soaking up a lot of arrow fire, so that helps a lot. And while he's losing scouts, his opponent is losing horse archers, so Mista has to be happy about that one. The warrior monk also triggers the Saints buff on the battlefield, so now you got those Cav Archers buffed, and that has to be a massive win here for TheMista. 13 kills, 8 losses. Must be happy with that. Now IAmMagic is going to start securing sacred sites, so TheMista will be forced to make a move, but he's got that 100 extra gold per minute, so that's definitely a good start for him. Looks like he's moving to the left side. Might actually go for that sacred site. Currently, it is about 17, 18 Cav Archers versus only 9. So, Mista is looking sharp in this one. Anything else coming in? There is 3 more on the way. We're currently looking at 3 ranges from IAmMagic. TheMista is operating on 4, so that also helps getting those numbers up high. And you see, Mista's Q is out there. Look at that Q. That's a lot of Cav Archers queued up. Currently, I don't think that he's got a lot of upgrades. He most definitely doesn't have Boyar's Fortitude. And it looks like we do have 1 range defense in for IAmMagic. You see, he's got 1 range defense out there. And he's getting the attack upgrade in. TheMista, he's got a blacksmith up. And he has finished the first attack upgrade, but no defense upgrade just yet. TheMista secures the sacred site up north. And it looks like he pulled all his Cav Archers back home. Behind this one, IAmMagic is adding 2 more ranges, so he's up to 5. Numbers could start swinging in his favor. I would love to see him taking down this boar, because that would be a massive amount of gold he gets here. Warrior Monk does get sniped over here, and that's going to allow IAmMagic to neutralize this sacred site, might even take it for himself. This stealth force is actually very, very nice to hide in, so you could try to hide your Cav Archers, and then maybe bait Mista in here. Mista moving out, that's a fairly sizable force of horse archers. Decisive numbers advantage is 32 versus 19. Mista, however, looks like he wasn't expecting those horse archers to be there in the stealth forest, so he's gonna lose a couple of horse archers in here. IAmMagic, although he's 1 relic behind, he's gonna have 2 sacred sites working for him, so that pretty much compensates for that 1 relic. Looking at the food income, that's very, very minimal for IAmMagic. We're just talking about berry villagers. Other side, also berry villagers for TheMista, so neither of the players are currently going for any kind of farming. And I do see a siege workshop on the way for Mista, so there is gonna be some mangonels. Both sides using the stealth forests very, very actively, trying to conceal the movement of their units. Another one cav archers gets sniped down over here by IAmMagic. Those are small wins, but those do help. One or two units isolated and being picked off definitely helps. Currently, it is 41 army for Mista, 43 for his opponent, so very, very similar numbers for the two players right now. Ooh, those cav archers could actually get a good ambush in, but I think that IAmMagic knows that that's the full horde of his opponent. No Boyar's fortitude on either side. We do have 13 attack versus 14 attack. Way better upgrades for IAmMagic now. Those are not necessarily big difference makers, especially if you got some warrior monks helping out as well. Speaking of warrior monks, here comes IAmMagic, and once he gets those hits in, the Saint's Blessing will help the units of IAmMagic over here. Still, numbers are way better for TheMista, and it's easier for him to reinforce as well. So that was a decisive win here for TheMista, pretty much destroying all the cav archers. Warrior monks also do get all sniped down. The scouts are gone. This was a huge win here for Mista. If you look at the KD, 49 to 32, and he is taking this game over slowly but surely. 3 relics still helps a lot, although as I said, there is 2 sacred sites for his opponent alongside his 2 relics. Currently looking at still no defense upgrades or no Boyar's fortitude for TheMista. IAmMagic looking at his base, no Boyar's fortitude, but he's got +2 defense, +2 attack. And if you look at the resources though, IAmMagic is floating 600 gold. So this would be the time to get Boyar's fortitude. That is probably what swings this in your favor the most. 20 extra HP on those horse archers is a quite significant advantage. Both players have a pretty wacky food eco. 33 on food for Mista, all of them on berries. At some point you're gonna have to start transitioning to farming eco because you see that IAmMagic already ran out of food. Horse archers, however, moving in, and TheMista could start losing villagers on the wood line. This is, I think, the first time in the game where we are seeing villagers being killed. Mista not reacting yet. Mista. Villagers on the left side will get picked apart by horse archers as well, and Mista is not reacting. What's happening here? He's sending back the horse archers just now, but the villagers aren't running. This is a disaster. In a mirror matchup, you can't afford to lose 20 villagers like that. Mista is down to 35. He had the numbers advantage, but those 2 raids over here may have just won the game for IAmMagic. Enormous. 36 villagers against 54. That's an 18 vills lead. That extra relic won't compensate for it. So now, Mista is fighting from a disadvantageous position. 54 villagers, 32 army only though for IAmMagic, 50 army for Mista. Now he has to capitalize on that better army, and he needs to compensate. He needs to kill 10 or so villagers from his opponent, otherwise the game will snowball out of control. Horse archers moving down south over here, trying to go for the sacred site over here. Sacred site also being taken by IAmMagic. He's hiding mangonels in the stealth forest. That's actually very, very clever. That I love. He should do that because he knows that Mista will move up with the cav archers at some point because he sees an isolated army. Mista sees them because they're in the sacred site. So he sees, okay, this is a small army, I can take this fight. And this could be massive here. IAmMagic is hiding the mangonels. He's unpopping the mangonels right now. And by the time Mista realizes what's going on, it's gonna be a little too late. He actually gets away with his horse archers, but that ambush was just textbook execution. Maybe if IAmMagic waits a tiny bit more until they get closer, that would have been even better. Like, lure them a little closer to this side, because then it's a little more difficult to escape with those horse archers. Beautiful idea here from the IAmMagic though. Now here comes TheMista, and this is what I was talking about. You gotta leverage that army advantage and turn it into villager kills, because that's the only way that you're gonna be able to compensate for your previous losses. Quite a few villagers will go down over here from IAmMagic, so he's down to 50. Some villagers will make it to the towers, but it's now 48 to 39, so some of those losses were compensated for, but oh boy, just when Mista thought that there might be a way back, he's going to start losing his own lumberjacks on the right side, so all those villager kills were for nothing. Maybe if they find these vills, there's a chance to even out the villager numbers, but it's 36 to 48, so still 12 villagers advantage for IAmMagic. Mangonel's now setting up, and those horse archers are a little clustered up here on the north. Couple of good Mangonel hits could come in, and there is no siege weapons here for the Mista. I am not sure if this is enough for the Mista to clean this one up. There is some cav archers coming from behind as well to try and help out villagers being pulled to burn down the Mangonels. But at this point, if those villagers all die, I think that's a massive win for IAmMagic, even if he loses his army. And the villagers just get absolutely shredded by the Mangonels. Even if the Mista cleans this up, I think he has lost way too much. It is 49 villagers, 25 army for IAmMagic. Only 22 army for the Mista, and there is just a never-ending flow of reinforcements coming in here for IAmMagic. Those two raids, a couple of minutes ago, probably won the game for IAmMagic, because that's where he carved out a massive, massive lead in terms of economy. He turns this into an army advantage, and then he's the one taking the better fights. The Mista loses the first one to IAmMagic over here. Well played by Magic, because he timed that raid perfectly, and that showed. So, the Mista is going to lose his own Rus, and that's gonna be a win for IAmMagic. So, let's take a quick look at the statistics. Hold on for a brief moment while I bring those up. With recorded games, you always have to look at the player profiles for the statistics, so it's not like it pops up at the end of the game. But, hold on. Here it... Nope, it's not the one. This is the one. So, you see, it's fairly obvious where this game was lost for Mista. Head-to-head in terms of villager count, in fact, he had the relic advantage. Don't look at the colors, that's messed up in the game, so it's actually flipped. This is Mista's villager count. Dropped once, and that is the advantage that IAmMagic is able to use. So you see, this is around 16 minutes. From 16 minutes on, I would expect IAmMagic to take over in army numbers, because he's got way better resource income, so it's easier for him to get army numbers high. And you see, this is where the armies start evening out. This is exactly where it starts to close that gap, and we have a decisive fight. In the end, Mangonels obviously contributed a lot. You can tell that by just looking at this graph. The army numbers were still much higher for the Mista, but the losses were much smaller for IAmMagic. That is a sign that the Mangonels contributed a lot, because it was Cav Archer versus Cav Archer. If this was an even battle, then Mista would have lost similar numbers compared to IAmMagic. Losing way more is a sign that the Mangonels also helped a lot in that final battle, but obviously, this game was probably lost in this very moment, and not at that final fight. With that being said, we're jumping into the home map of the Mista. His home map is Mongolian Heights, and his opponent has banned Delhi, so no Delhi option over here for the Mista. Probably Mongols is his choice. Mongols, Delhi are the two favorite civilizations of players on this map. There is no Mongols for IAmMagic because that was banned by Mista, so I'm expecting Delhi over here. Let's jump straight in. Indeed, it looks like we do have a Mongols versus Delhi matchup. This is a pretty tough one for Mongols, as we do have the Mista using them in blue on the left side. Right side is going to be the Delhi, as IAmMagic in red. So, normally, against any other civilization with the Mongols, what you would do is go for either early scouts or early spearmen and try to burn that dock down, because it's almost guaranteed that your opponent is going to dock. But what are you gonna do if your opponent has fishing ships that shoot, like the Delhi fishing ships? You can't just send out 2 or 3 spearmen to take that dock down. The fishing ships don't have insane firepower for a Delhi, but it's enough to take down early scouts, early spearmen, so you can't just take that dock down that ways. Also, if you go for your own dock, your opponent can send a couple of fishing ships forward and harass them. Ovu coming in here for the Mista, and it's already being harassed by IAmMagic. That is just so annoying. Usually you have no trouble getting that Ovu up at the beginning. The fact that IAmMagic is able to delay that tiny bit is already a huge accomplishment. Speaking of that Ovu, there is a stone mine that's closer for Mista, but he hasn't scouted that. Now, I think that he's gonna be fine with this Ovu for the time being, because right now it's not exposed, it's not gonna get attacked, and at least it's depleting the stone from here. Later in this game, this Ovu could be more problematic if he loses control over this part of the map, by the way. But then he's got backup ovus or backup stone outcroppings to drop ovus at. Looks like TheMista actually went for an additional scout in Dark Age alongside his Khan. So he's gonna have an extra bit of information coming in for scouting, and he's going for a barracks. So that scout came from the town center, no early stable from him. He's building a barracks close to the TC, and he's going to move it close to the Ovu. So I expect him to try and go for spearman aggression. And the only way that works out is if he's pressuring the gold mine of the opponent, cutting him off from gold and delaying that feudal age. That's the only thing I can imagine. The spearman won't be able to destroy the dock over here. The wood line is way too close to be raidable. The only place where you can attack is the gold mine in these scenarios. That can work very nicely. Being able to cut off your opponent from gold could actually win you the game because he might be stuck in Dark Age. The problem is, for TheMista, is that IAmMagic's gold mine is very safe here. This is one of the best gold mines I've seen for a long, long time. Rather close to the town center, at the back, it's even sheltered by a forest and some cliffs on the right side. So this is a pretty difficult approach for TheMista. Barracks up, coming in with 2 spearmen is our blue player, Mista. Meanwhile, he's not playing with a single dock if I'm not mistaken. His opponent, IAmMagic, is on fish. So here's the deal. IAmMagic already has a pretty decisive eco advantage. We're talking about 18 versus 13 economy. That all is fishing ships. So the food economy right now is way better, or at least it's supposed to be way better for IAmMagic. Obviously, the reason why you're seeing more food income per minute for TheMista over here is because he's got 9 villagers on sheep, and he's got only 2 on wood. Compare that to the other side, there is basically just 4 villagers on sheep here, and the rest of them on wood. So, yeah, of course, there is more food income at the beginning here for Mista, but IAmMagic is mostly just using fishing ships for food income, and he's spending his villagers elsewhere. So, the wood and gold are better for IAmMagic because he doesn't have to spend those villagers to food. TheMista moving up with the first spearman. I'm curious to see if IAmMagic is going to be able to spot this one. Oh yeah, he probably sees the spearman out there. Now he definitely sees it, so he knows exactly the spearman is coming. And since he already has a bunch of villagers on wood, might as well go for that outpost out here. He's already going for forestry. Obviously it takes quite a lot of time, but might as well start doing it in Dark Age. There's nothing else that you can do with that lumber camp research-wise. Looking at IAmMagic, it looks like his fishing eco is about to be towered by TheMista. He sees the tower, so he's gonna have a chance to react to that, and there is going to be a scout coming in. Another tower comes in from TheMista, so I guess his plan is that he wants to control the river with towers, because with the help of the spearman, he can finish the towers, and then the towers, especially with arrow slits or spring golden placements, they will be able to control the river. Here comes the scout though for IAmMagic, and that is going to be a villager pushed away from that tower. Preemptive tower coming at the back of that dock by IAmMagic. So IAmMagic looks like he's gonna be able to secure that position for himself, although the spearman is now coming in, boosted by the maneuver arrow of that Khan, just so that he can catch up. Scout doing his best to delay this one, and actually IAmMagic has to give up on that tower. TheMista is gonna get that tower up. That is a big win there for Mista, because he's going to be able to harass those fishing ships. Now, keep in mind that IAmMagic already has gotten a massive advantage in terms of overall resources gathered from all these fishing ships. So, it's not the end of the world that he has to relocate these. And since the spearman can burn down this previous dock thanks to the fishing ships being close by, I think he's going to be completely fine with that. IAmMagic already up to Feudal Age over here with the Dome of Fate. Still no mosque for him, so he hasn't started getting those research buffs in. And we do have a villager moving forward for another tower over here for Mista. With Feudal Age, however, for IAmMagic, he could actually get some combat ships out. So we could see some DAOs moving in, trying to help out. IAmMagic is a little low on wood, so that's not gonna be an imminent. But we might still see it in the near future. Archer range coming in for IAmMagic. Also, we're going to see gold mining, of course. No surprise on that front. Meanwhile, for TheMista, he is just now finishing his Feudal Age landmark, which is going to be the Deer Stones. Looking at his resources, those aren't really looking amazing, so the question is, what is he gonna do? He's getting that arrow slits upgrade immediately, as expected, and he's probably gonna do the exact same thing on that tower. Currently, that tower isn't able to shoot those fishing ships. Actually, it is. Now it's garrisoned by spearmen. So, once arrow slits comes in, it's gonna be difficult for IAmMagic to keep those fishing ships alive. He is spotting that tower as well, so he knows exactly his opponent is gonna have the fishing eco towered. There is, however, another dock coming in down south, so he probably will just relocate his fishing eco once again. Fishing ships moving down south over here. The dock from TheMista will be spotted. Khan keeping track of that fishing ships. They are trying to find this new dock over here. We do have some archers moving in from IAmMagic, second archer range on the way, as the first mosque is just now up. Dome of Fate now popping out scholars so they can start boosting the research. Villager is actually being pulled to repair that fishing ship, so the Khan won't be able to take it down. And it looks like all the fishing ships will go for a mass migration. Many of them will actually be sunk by these towers, so that's not ideal for IAmMagic. And there is now a light chunk coming in as well. It's possible IAmMagic is losing his fishing eco here, because at this point I don't see a combat ship from him, and fishing ships can shoot back, but they're not particularly powerful, so that light junk could do quite a lot of damage. The fishing eco is idle right now for IAmMagic, which means that even though Mista doesn't have a single fishing ship, he isn't falling behind that much in terms of economy, because his opponent fish is idle. Defensive tower coming in for IAmMagic, as the first fishing ship is being taken down. Looks like the archer is coming in here to shoot. This actually tells Mista that his opponent already has an archery range, which is an important piece of information. And you see the reaction is immediately coming in. There's a stable. These docks are now sort of useless for IAmMagic because they're being towered. Also, now they are not protected by fishing ships, so this is the time where Mista wants to burn them down with Spearman. Outpost almost finished over here. The villager took some damage over here, but it's going to be able to finish the outpost. So IAmMagic should be able to secure his shoreline fish for the time being. Meanwhile, for the Mista, are we seeing any fishing ships? Yes, we are. So we're gonna have some fishing going on over here. Looks like the Khan is trying its best to get some shots in on that archer, but there's a spearman as well. The scout gets killed, and now the archers are getting some nice shots in on that Khan. So the Mista has to be very careful not to lose that Khan over here to the archers and the spearmen. As expected, he's going to send out the spearmen to try and burn down the dock. Pretty standard stuff over here. You set it on fire, you get 50 food, 50 gold. Might as well do it. You got some leftover spearmen to do it with. Looks like we got some light chunks from the Mista and the Dao as well from IAmMagic, supported by some archers. But here's the deal. That junk is being healed by the dock, and the archers don't do a ton of damage against it, so this is actually a good fight for Mista. You see, he's killing quite a lot of units over here that are crossing those shallows, but not everything, and that archer range is gonna get denied by IAmMagic. IAmMagic also moving in with the archers to that gold mine, but won't be able to kill the villager. Might actually get a kill here, though, on that villager. Looks like the stable is popping out early horsemen. There's only one spearman to help out here, so this could be a cleanup here from Mista. But as long as that spearman is alive, it's gonna be a little difficult, especially because these are only Dark Age early horsemen. No Feudal Age upgrade just yet. Reinforcements are being cut off by that light chunk, so it's gonna be difficult for IAmMagic to reinforce this. And since he only has one spearman, once that spearman is gone, the horseman can take this down. And indeed, that's exactly what we're seeing. Horsemen are now coming in, and with that spearman chasing a villager, the horsemen should be able to clean up the archers. Tower fire also helps a lot, and in the end, this is a nice cleanup here for the Mista. The Mista also looking pretty good with resources. He wasn't really spending a ton of resources on the archers or the spearmen like his opponent. He actually went for a couple of horsemen, but keep in mind that these were made through double training, so they weren't particularly expensive. He also has some fishing eco, I do believe. I saw some fishing ships popping out previously. And he's also burning down these buildings. And of course, he was very heavy on the sheep. He had quite a lot of sheep to work with. So this way, he's able to afford Castle Age. Nice and easy. Step right up on the way on that gold mine. Whereas on the other side, Castle Age is getting closer for IAmMagic, but he's still a little further away. going for that hardened spearman upgrade. That's gonna take a lot of time to get. Spearman now moving in, trying to take down the dog. Reaction from IAmMagic is to pull the archers, kill the spearman, so his opponent isn't getting that bounty for burning down the dog. At the side of the rear, it looks like we have IAmMagic coming in with that extended lines upgrade. This is actually a little problematic for him, because you see, it takes a lot of time to get this upgrade in. And as long as this is being made, he can't make a ship here. So this is one of the drawbacks of the Delhi here, that you just can't make your combat ships if you're getting that upgrade. You need the second building for ships then. Looks like Mista is going to rally his forces. All the horsemen come in as well, and they will just start to burn down that dock over here. I think they can set it on fire just before the spearmen arrive. Looks like they won't, but there's a couple of archers moving in, and suddenly Mista's numbers are looking much better. These are only Dark Age spearmen, and remember that the Delhi take a lot of time to get their upgrades, so these power spikes works a lot better for TheMista. Is already in Castle Age, so he could get the Veteran Archer upgrade, and he could even get improved siege weapons, so he could start coming up with potential mangonels or springles, but probably rams would be the way to go, and just keep on the pressure. The dock is now burning, so that's gonna give some gold and food as well to TheMista. And meanwhile, on the other side, we do have extended lines still coming in, fishing eco still operational. And for TheMista, he's actually going for demos, also seeing a couple of crossbows coming in. Crossbows are probably direct reaction to the barracks, because we are seeing men-at-arms being assembled. Because the hardened spearman upgrade aren't finished, the men-at-arms aren't coming out just yet. So IAmMagic is in the danger of losing a couple of villagers here on the gold mine, and that's exactly what we're seeing. One villager went down, a second one goes down as well. The horseman got cleaned up, so that's not ideal for TheMista, but he was able to pick off two villagers over here. First lancers hitting the field right now. TheMista doesn't have anything that kills lancers here, only archers, so this should be a cleanup by IAmMagic. Meanwhile, on the other side, we do have a demo coming in. I think that demo ship actually sunk some fishing ships, and I think that Mista, while he's fighting those lancers, and while he's forcing his opponent to micro, he's using that to get some demos in here. The DAOs actually have a decent bonus damage against incendiary ships, like explosive chunks are, but if you're not looking, you might still get a big demo in your face, and that's exactly what we're seeing. You see that those lancers were fighting the archers, they are still actually fighting those archers, as Mista is trying to get maximum damage output here from them before they get killed, trying to get a villager kill. So, while IAmMagic was actually fighting that, those demos just destroyed pretty much all the fishing eco here from IAmMagic. Currently looking at 46 versus 46 eco, so dead even in that department. Resource income is actually rather close. IAmMagic leading in food and wood, but better gold income for TheMista. Most of that comes from the step redoubt. So in an even eco scenario, that step redoubt is a massive boost to the Mongols, so the economy of TheMista is probably a tiny bit better. There's a war chunk moving up down south, so that should finish off this entire dock and all the fishing operation over here. So Mista should be controlling the river. Quite a lot of crossbows on the field for TheMista. That's going to be good to deal with the Lancers and the men-at-arms. Lancers will try to cut off the escape path for that Khan as it's trying to retreat. It did spot the second town center, so TheMista should know that his opponent is playing two TCs. It looks like the Khan might get away. Quite a lot of men-at-arms out here supported by Lancers. The age of building for IAmMagic is the House of Learning, so he's getting that owned blades upgrade in, but it takes forever. Look at this. This is something that a lot of people didn't like in the Delhi changes in the recent patch. Delhi research rates were slowed down a lot, especially in Castle Age. Like, this House of Learning is being boosted by a mosque with 3 scholars in it, and it is like 15 minutes to research this upgrade. It has been going on for some time, and it's still 30 minutes left to go. And then you got some more upgrades to take. So own blades actually takes forever here. You pretty much need 2 more mosques to boost this up to a reasonable pace. And that's a lot of waiting time for your Lancers, especially when your opponent already has crossbows out on the field. Currently, Mista is controlling those choke points, so he has to feel happy about this one. The only problem that he could be facing is that he's up against 2 town centers, so he's going to start falling behind in terms of economy unless he starts adding a second town center himself. Looks like IAmMagic is going to assemble a fairly sizable force of Lancers, and he's looping around for a potential raid. Now, there's a war junk over here patrolling this southern crossing, but if it's leaving, there's a chance that those Lancers could sneak past. And if they sneak past, this could be troublesome for the Mista, because the Mista's army is all the way up here. It doesn't really have a lot of mobility, and back at home, he's wide open for raiding. So you see, Lancers are slowly moving up the war junk left at crossing, Mista diving deep into the opponent's base. IAmMagic mostly just has men-at-arms and Lancers in here, so the crossbows will have a nice time. There's a siege workshop coming in, no siege weapons on the way though. Archers will be added to try and deal with the crossbowmen, but these are only feudal age archers as opposed to veteran archers of the Mista. This is gonna be a tough fight back at home here for IAmMagic. But he's got 2 town centers protecting his base, plus a defensive tower, Lancers, men-at-arms coming in, and behind this one, the Knights are now moving up, some of them hitting this gold mine, and another detachment might be going for the wood. This could be troublesome for Mista, because I don't think that his army is going to do a ton of damage over here, whereas back at home, he's wide open for raiding. Those Lancers will just run past the very villagers, and it looks like these are moving towards the gold mine. It's always a safe bet to raid the gold mine of Mongol players, because they usually have a lot of villagers over there, usually no town center nearby, just the steppe redopt, so you want to try and raid those gold mines from the Mongols. And speaking of raiding, there come the Knights. They are going to take down a few villagers on the berries, and same thing on the gold mine. This is what I was referring to. This raid here from the Mista didn't do a ton, might have killed 1 or 2 villagers, but this is just a lot more impactful. Combine that with the 2 TCs of the Delhi player here, and I feel like now IAmMagic is in a commanding position. He's actually getting some nice raids in on that wood line as well. So his opponent, the Mista, is losing a ton of villagers here. We're talking about 54 villas for IAmMagic, 45 for the Mista, and that's gonna be 2 more dead villagers if I'm not mistaken. At least 1, yeah, 2. And the thing is that IAmMagic hasn't even found these villagers over here in the north. Crossbows will be pulled back to deal with this, so this raid is gonna get cleaned up. But this is exactly the type of move that IAmMagic needed to carve out an eco lead, and that's something that he can build on. Lancer is trying to move to the north. Oh boy, this could be a disaster for Mista. This could be a disaster, because IAmMagic is about to find those hunters, and that could be so many dead villagers. Lancers? Lancers? Oh, that was a little sloppy for IAmMagic. Now the crossbows are here, so he won't be able to kill a lot. This could have been a couple more villager kills. In the end, I don't think he kills any with that 1 Lancer remaining, and the crossbows just killed that Lancer's buddies. The dock is still up over here, by the way, and we do have some demos coming in, so the Mista has to be careful because that war junk is heavily battered, and there is going to be another demo coming in. So now IAmMagic wants to get some demo hits in here. He wants to fight for that water area. Here comes the demo. Warjunk is gonna get 1 shot in, but you need 2 shots. Actually, you need 3, I think, to sink a demo. Demo triggers will sink the Warjunk. Dock is still up over here. Looks like we are gonna have a keep being built in the middle, so this dock will be contested. Along with it, the entire fishing eco of the Mista is gonna get contested. So this dock is probably gonna be history in the next couple of moments. Mostly looking at archers and lancers. For IAmMagic, he doesn't have the veteran archer upgrade just yet. He hasn't even started it yet. So it's only a handful of feudal age archers. Mostly it's lancers and men-at-arms. Owned blades still 8 minutes away. That's just ridiculous. Another demo coming in here, and this could be fairly big. It does sink the majority of the fishing ships, and it also takes 1 villager down with it, so talk about value. That was very, very good. 62 eco right now for IAmMagic, 47 for the Mista. So now, in every possible way, IAmMagic should be leading in terms of resource income, except for gold. Looks like he had no gold income for some time. Now he's back on top, so that should start rising. The Mista's got a pretty decent gold income, mostly coming from the Step Redopt, boosting that. So obviously that Step Redopt is able to help narrow that villager gap with the efficiency. IAmMagic is moving out for the hunt. He has gotten his horticulture upgrade already, and it looks like we already have the sanctity technology in, so we could start seeing IAmMagic moving out for these sacred sites. This one should be rather easy to take, and honestly this one is actually an option as well. Looks like we're gonna have stone walls coming in from IAmMagic, so he knows exactly that he's got an advantage villager wise because he's on 2 town centers, he's been raiding so might as well go for stone walls and prevent any kind of counter raids from coming in. Speaking of counter raids, there is gonna be another batch of Lancers coming in. IAmMagic was successful with the first raid, and he's gonna try to get another one in. It's gonna be a little more difficult though, because there is towers lying around. I saw a tower foundation somewhere around over here, and there's another tower coming in. So Mista is expecting these raids every once in a while, and there is gonna be an outpost indeed to spot that. Crossbows are back at home, so I don't think that these Lancers can do as much as they could previously. Yeah, there's a lot of Lancers here for the Mista. Lancer crossbow is a better combination here than just Lancer and a couple of Feudal Age foot archers for IAmMagic. He's actually increasing his archer numbers, but Veteran Archer is still light years away. Look at that, it's 3 minutes time. Looks like IAmMagic won't be able to get anything over here. He's gonna try to retreat, but where is he gonna retreat to? The walls are up here, so he's gonna have to move all the way up north here. And there's a lot of crossbows. These Lancers are sort of stranded over here. We do have some trebuchets shelling that castle from IAmMagic. He's bringing boiling oil. Looks like we do have a Mangonel as well taking that tower down. Springald is the response from the Mista. And as I said, these Lancers just can't go anywhere. Oh, it looks like IAmMagic wants to bait those Lancers into a demo. Look at this. The Mista, once he charges in, that demo is going to take down those Lancers. That's the plan here for IAmMagic. But Mista sees it. And that's very important. Look at that vision. He knows exactly there's a demo there, so that's why he's not charging in. If he goes close to the shoreline, the demos will sink his army, and that's exactly what IAmMagic wants. He knows exactly that he can't bring his Lancers back home. Might as well try to just keep them here, force your opponent to stay here, and maybe, if he's not looking and he triggers a charge, the demos could sink that army. In the middle, the keep is being repaired for the time being, only one treb shelling it, as we got some Mangonels coming in here to the middle. Obviously, the Mista's forces are mostly crossbowmen, so a couple of Mangonels could work nicely. The demo comes in here, and it's going to trade himself off to a demo and a fishing ship. Wasn't bad, not spectacular though. Third town center for IAmMagic though. So the Mista is at 55 vills, 83 for IAmMagic, as another demo is getting close. What is this demo going to accomplish though? Might actually be able to damage or take down the towers, but in the end it's just going to get taken down by the towers itself. Keep still alive, boiling oil almost done, and we do have a spring golden placement on it as well. Very, very cautious gameplay from both players. The Lancers decided to leave. You see that Mista realized that he has to pull the knights to the front, so he only left the crossbows behind. But that also meant that he can no longer keep track of those Lancers, and any moment in this game, those Lancers could move in. Now, Mista's got some forces back at home to defend against this one, so what IAmMagic should do is just keep these Lancers in reserve in this corner for some time, and whenever you start some sort of fighting, and Mista rallies his forces to the battlefield, you send these in from behind. Let's see if Mista sees that. Mista clearly sees those Lancers coming in. He has to micro his Springolds though, so he might not notice them up until now. There's the first Sacred Site falling into the hands of IAmMagic. Springolds from IAmMagic trying to snap down the trebuchets. Villagers are being pulled to deal with the damage, and there goes one Springold. Trebuchet might get sniped down, but it looks like IAmMagic will retreat. Lancers try to go in for a raid. Mista's reaction is nice and clean over here. He's going to chase those down. He might actually be able to intercept these with crossbows if he's got any over here. Looks like that's not the case. He will just pursue with his own Lancers. Meanwhile, in the north, we also have a keep guarding this crossing, so now 2 river crossings will be held by IAmMagic, also getting quite a lot of towers up here. Wouldn't be surprised to see spring golden placements coming in, because those can deliver quite a lot of firepower to you. Mangonels will deal with that. Demo ship. Looks like the Mista will try that bait once again. Look at that. IAmMagic tried that bait once, didn't work. Tried twice, didn't work. Now is the third time, and Mista once again reacts very nicely. He knows exactly that IAmMagic can't really do much with those Lancers, but the demos could help so much. A demo coming in as well from the Mista, and that could be massive. If a demo ship triggers in the middle of the battlefield here, on that shallow crossing, this could be just a massacre. It is 17 seconds away. Demo ship in here for IAmMagic. He could just demo rush this dock down though, and that's exactly what he's planning to do. Another 2 demos trigger, and the dock goes down. This could be enormous, because the Mista was rather close to getting a demo out, and that could have helped a lot in this fight. Lancers burning down tower over here. Lancers from Mista will be diverted to deal with this one. As things stand, IAmMagic's economy is mostly better, mainly because he's at 97 villagers. His opponent, the Mista, is only at 64. Up north, IAmMagic has this choke point under his control. He's taking out that dog nice and easy. Khan is being annoying over here, but you gotta be careful because free mangonels setting up to kill your Khan would be pretty painful to you. Springles being built on the battlefield by Mista, trying to hold on to this. The problem I feel here for Mista, as the demo triggered once again, it actually sunk a dog foundation, but I don't think it was able to damage those Lancers. So, the problem here for the Mista is that I just don't know where this game is going for him. Like, how is he planning to win this game? You see that IAmMagic has a plan. He's got an economy advantage, he's getting barracks out. Obviously, it takes forever to get upgrades with the Delhi, and that doesn't help, but at least you sort of see him building up an army and getting ready to push, also having an eco advantage that helps. Doc is gonna get denied over here, so once again, no demos available for Mista. And it looks like we are gonna have trebuchets set up on the north to try and shut the castle. So Mista looks like he's gonna try to shift focus to the north, and one of the things that Mista could do is use those Lancers. Because you see that his opponent barely has any Lancers now. IAmMagic actually has a pretty ragtag army comp over here. Not a big fan of archers and just a couple of Lancers here. That would just die to whatever the Mista has. The bigger thing would be to get those Lancers into the eco of IAmMagic though. And of course, remember that it takes a lot of time for the Delhi to get their upgrades in Imperial, even in Castle Age, but especially in Imperial it takes a lot of time to grab those. So the Mista could think about, okay, I can just get Imperial Age, play a long game, and when we both get to Imperial, I'm gonna have a power spike simply because my opponent will take forever to grab his imp upgrades. Looks like the demos will be sniped down over here by the Springolds. So, actually, demo survives. Other demo also survives for the time being, so Mista wasn't able to take those down. Looks like Magic is getting more and more tempted to cross the river. He's gotta be careful because if Mista had a demo queued up over there, that could have sunk that entire army. Speaking of sinking an army, there goes the two demos to the Springolds. And the Springolds also were thinking about diving in on those mangonels. IAmMagic looks like he's finally crossing the river here though, and that is a big gold mine that's exposed for the Mista. So the Mista might be forced to fight this one soon because even though he's got gold at the back, all of those are raidable. And now I feel like Mista could have gold control issues. Those gold mines were raided previously, and this gold mine is under attack. This is the big gold mine on your side of the river. You gotta keep that under your control. Crossbow's taking a good fight here though. They are actually killing quite a few of the men-at-arms. The Lancers traded off against each other on the north. And now, it is Mista's chance to charge in on those archers. A couple of scholars from behind helping out a lot. Springles trying to take down the demo before the demo could trigger. Men-at-arms charging in, trying to burn down the Springolds. But I feel like this is as good as it gets for a fight, for the Mista, so far at least. Now there is 3 mangonels setting up, so you gotta be careful not to lose your archers to that. Springolds still alive though. They do snap down 1 mangonel, and it looks like IAmMagic will be pushed back for the time being. Neither of the players are close to Imperial, but IAmMagic is banking up a ton of gold, both of them floating a lot of stone, which is a little weird for IAmMagic. He could use that to make keeps. It's weird that he was mining that much stone when he's not using it. Speaking of keeps, looks like this keep in the middle does get taken down. It has been shelled by trebuchets for a long time, and it just seemed like IAmMagic wasn't really either noticing it or just doesn't really care about that, because he was focusing his forces to the north, didn't send anything through in the middle to try and take those traps down. So the Mista will take down the keep in the middle, trying to go for a counterattack over here. Springolds now setting up over here. Mangonels also moving forward. Quite a lot of crossbows with staggered formation over here though. For the Mista, it is mostly men-at-arms and archers for a red player. It looks like Mista actually mismicros his trebuchets here though. Monk trying to pop out the conversion. That's gonna be a failure. I don't think that a single unit was converted over here. Demo getting close to the shoreline though, and this is why Mista has to be careful over here. If Mista had a mangonel himself, that would be massive, because he could get a good mangonel hit on top of those units out here. Crossbows focusing on the men-at-arms, and most of them are going down. But the Lancers can't charge the archers, because the moment they charge, that demo will trigger. You need to deal with that demo before you can deal with those archers, or you need a mangonel yourself. A keep is being made on the battlefield over here by IAmMagic. just to secure this side of the river, and this would cut off TheMista from gold. That step redoubt is wide open to that castle, and wide open to any kind of unit that really wants to harass it. So you see, Mista has to relocate his gold miners. Reinforcements are coming in, mostly men-at-arms right now. TheMista's forces are quite decent in numbers. The problem is that he couldn't take down those archers because the demo was nearby. And that's a quite serious problem. Mista sitting at 135 population with 63 army, 61 army, and 170 pop for IAmMagic right now. Right side is rather peaceful, so most of the fighting is going on in the middle, as these forward buildings are about to get cleaned up. Gold mine under the control of IAmMagic over here as well. Let's talk about gold income. TheMista still has some gold income. You see he's got the step redoubt working. It's actually a mistake that he has got a Gur on here as well, because you don't get the boosted gold income on this Gur, only on the step redoubt. So when you're mining gold like that, even if it's more walking distance for your vills, it's not worth it to have the Gur over there. You just want to have the step redoubt only. Nonetheless, he's got gold income still, and that helps a lot. There is a lot more gold down south, so he can hold on to this one for a long time. He doesn't necessarily need this gold, but obviously it doesn't help that he has lost it. The problem for him is that he's unable to break through the right side. If he could bash his way through the right, like send in 15 spearmen, make 5 rams, bash through this wall, and then send in the knights or the lancers, that would probably be the game-winning move. Because currently, whoever could get like 20 lancers into the opponent's eco could easily win the game, just on a raiding basis. So that stone wall is actually vital for IAmMagic, because that prevents massive raids from his opponent. Here comes another forward keep by IAmMagic, and it looks like Mista feels like he needs to fight this one. Mangonel getting some nice shots in. Many of the villagers do go down, and this is actually a pretty decent looking fight over here for the Mista, although he did hit some big Mangonel shots on his crossbows. The Mangonels do go down, some more spearmen coming in here, and that is actually a massive flood of units. The Mista's mostly got lancers in here now. The crossbows, they don't have huge numbers, and I think that if spearmen start coming in here, that is gonna be enough to kill the lancers. An elephant hits the field, something that's gonna be perfect to tank up a lot of damage from those lancers, a lot of damage from those crossbowmen. And once the lancers are gone, it's only crossbows. Crossbows will be overrun by spearmen quite easily, because the crossbows don't do well against them. Springbolts are still on the battlefield, and it looks like the Mista taps out. And with that, IAmMagic moves into the semifinals. Boy oh boy. So where did this slip for the Mista? I feel like it was just pure eco advantage. So if we go back into the statistics screen, hold on while I bring that up, I think the most important thing was that throughout this game, there was a way better economy for IAmMagic. Starting off with the fishing ships and then transitioning that into like 3 or 4 town centers booming. And if we look at that overall economy over here, you see way better resources. That helps a lot when you're just spamming units into the opponent's army. IAmMagic's army was also a little weird because he had lancers and crossbows. Now, those units don't complement that well. Because if you think about it, the lancers will deal with the men-at-arms nicely. Lancers will trade evenly against the opponent's lancers. The crossbows will be great against both. However, you don't have anything against light units, like a lot of spearmen. And by the end of the game, we saw IAmMagic moving up with a lot of spearmen, and neither the crossbows nor the lancers performed that well against them. And of course, having a better economy like this one, 5,000 more gold, 2,000 more stone, despite the fact that Mista was actually Mongols, so IAmMagic was mining stone like crazy. But 13,000 more wood and 4k more food. Those are the reasons why IAmMagic was able to win this. You see, the KD is massively negative for him, but it was just a never-ending infantry flood. Spearmen, archers, some men-at-arms on the battlefield, even an elephant mixed in. And at the end of the day, these army numbers are what swing this in the favor of IAmMagic. You see, IAmMagic was also losing numbers, but he's losing them at a much slower pace, simply because he's gonna easier time reinforcing, and that's what we saw in the end. The Mista is out, and IAmMagic moves into the semifinals of the $20,000 SteelSeries Prime Cup.